it was hard for me. I'm standing in there saying, no, I don't want to lose the deal over a model car. I didn't think it was going to boil down to a model car. And welcome back to another episode. I'm Gaston Rossato. This is season 7, episode 13.
And I'm Renzo Rossato, and today we're going to share a story with you guys. We received a phone call from a client of ours requesting a LaFerrari. Of course, looking for the best example out there. So we're going to be telling you how we found this car, a car with no title. But before we get started, guys, make sure to check out the page if you're new to it. We have hundreds of videos of some badass cars and some really cool stories that we get to share with you guys from this industry. And before anything else, hit that subscribe button for us.
I get this call, let's find the best LaFerrari we can find. All of a sudden, basically the whole country becomes your playground.
Exactly.
Because the fact is these cars can be anywhere.
Right.
And they made them in so many different colors. And at this point, 2014, 2015 are the 2 years available for the LaFerrari. The most preferred year is a 15, second year of production.
And why would you say that's the preferred year?
Well, like every car that's been recently produced, you always want to go for that second year. They're a little more polished out. For collectability reasons, people usually like last year. Unless it's, very early cars, and sometimes, in many cases, it's a first year production that's worth more. It just depends on the evolution of the car. But generally speaking, collectors do prefer a 15 over a 14 on the LaFerrari in particular.
So, of course, I think one of the first things we will do is go online and search LaFerrari for sale. And you're not going to get a listing of...
You don't get a ton of cars available, right. And there was a few cars, and we did entertain those cars. But like everything in this very high-end market, you try to find off-market stuff. You try to, create these silent deals where you don't know really what the price is, the exclusivity of not knowing where the car is, or in the future this car ever comes up to market, it's really the first time it being offered. So
right.
That exclusivity is very important, and there's a lot of buyers willing to pay a premium for it. And that's really the route we wanted to take for this particular client. That route wasn't guaranteed until, again, it's case by case, we started to kind of filter out cars in the market.
And because of your time in the industry, our time in the industry, we've built relationships where you can make some phone calls and start getting these off-market listings, is what you call them.
You know who has what, and one thing leads to the next. And this car was absolutely no exception. We did everything we could, like you said, knock on all the doors. Knock and you shall find, right?
Yeah.
Seek and it shall open unto you. So I'm going to tell you how it happened. We had a 2021 Ferrari F8 Tributo on order for another really good client.
Yeah.
He's an out-of-the-country client. I personally went, we sat down, we spec'd the car out, we left a deposit, and I was on the phone with the dealer getting an update on the order. Obviously, we ordered pre-pandemic.
Right.
The pandemic hit. Production stopped, things were revamping, so we were getting updates on that and where is the car now and how and when can we expect it. So I'm on that phone call, and of course, simultaneously, this is a time I'm looking for the LaFerrari.
Right.
So while I have him on the phone, I say, hey, by the way, do you know of any LaFerraris that may be available? He says, Gaston, actually, yes, I do. We have one, it's off market. And even more so, the principal of the dealer, which owns several Ferrari dealers, is a Ferrari collector. And he was allocated a LaFerrari brand new.
Right.
And that car is still with him today. He's expressed interest in selling the car. I said, well, I have interest in buying the car. He broke it down. It was a 200-mile example.
There you go. That's hard to find already, something with such low miles.
It gets even better.
It does get better. And
because who buys a LaFerrari without a title, you ask? That's the biggest question, and we want to address that, okay?
Exactly.
When a car is sold brand new, any car, okay, it goes from the manufacturer to the authorized dealer.
Correct.
Cars don't have titles until they are registered. So the manufacturer distributes the cars with what's called an MSO.
Right, so an MSO, for those who don't know, is a manufacturer's statement of origin, which basically is going to detail out all the basic information of that car, verifying that that car is legit from the factory, so that then the DMV can use it to register the car.
It's the paperwork that essentially the DMV uses
Right.
to register the car for this first time, and then the title gets issued to the first owner.
Exactly.
So, yes, that is right. We're talking about a 2015 LaFerrari with 200 miles, highly spec'd,
Yeah.
always kept and maintained by an authorized dealer on MSO.
And that's one of the things that, when you hear that the owner of these multiple Ferrari dealers is the one who personally owned this LaFerrari, you know it was properly taken care of. There's nothing that the car needed.
Properly serviced. So now we have the exclusivity of an off-market car, a low-mileage car,
Right.
and a brand new car. As far as paperwork is concerned, it was a brand new car. If our client ended up buying this car, he would be the first owner to this LaFerrari, which, yes, we all understand how cool that is, but,
Yeah, but
also...
there's a big important part of being the first owner of this LaFerrari.
Correct. So it helps now this particular client build his Ferrari profile.
Exactly.
That will ultimately now help him receive these hyper supercars or limited production Ferrari cars from the factory directly,
Exactly.
because he's on that list as a brand new LaFerrari owner. So that meant a lot to our client, and that's a relationship that we've been building for him and the dealer to be able to start creating that profile and be able to access these more exclusive cars.
So let's jump into how we structured the deal, how this negotiation went on to actually make it happen.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting story, and,
Well,
and how it almost falls apart at the end for something that you would say, wow, but it came together.
Yeah. To be even more lucky, because the stars, when they align, man, let me tell you, they align. This car was only 2 hours away from here.
Could you imagine?
I mean, it could have been on the other side of the country, like in Oregon or something.
Right.
No, it was right here in Florida. And I set up to see this car immediately. We want to waste no time. Apparently, there was potential other buyers involved. And you got to understand, we also know that the market has just completely skyrocketed, which basically all the cars, but especially these very limited edition cars.
Yep.
This was only earlier this year. And since then, this car has probably gained a $1 million premium since our client bought the car. So the timing, again, I'm just kind of emphasizing on timing for everything on this particular deal. Well, this already for me is heaven, to be able to structure these kind of deals, to find these kind of cars, and everything that's involved in the process, the due diligence process, right? The client says, "Let's go see the car."
Right. So the way you got to the car is
Yeah, the way you normally do is you hop in your car and you go see the car.
Yeah.
But we needed to expedite. And we had the resources to do so.
Right.
So the client says, "No, we're flying. We're taking the chopper. Meet me at my home. We're flying out of there. Arrange to see if we can land at the actual dealership." I said that's going to be tough, but that didn't happen. We did fly. We landed at the airport. The dealer was kind enough to pick us up in a Lincoln Continental, black on black, black tins, very limousine-ish style. So we were there in 30 minutes or less.
Nice.
We sat down. We started to inspect the car. Everything started checking off, right?
Yeah. And I think at this point they already know that you guys are not there to play any games, that you're really there to purchase a car.
Yeah, when you show up in a helicopter to inspect the car, it makes a statement.
Yeah.
And it says, "I'm here to not waste time. I'm here to buy a car."
Exactly.
Let's check out the car. I went through the books, we went through the tools, we went through the car cover, the trickle charger. They were kind enough to plug in the car. We got battery readings. Also got a full major service on the car before delivery, and that was all part of the negotiation, of course.
So when you buy a LaFerrari and you're the first owner of a LaFerrari, you do get a modeled version of that car, right? So typically when these cars resell, the original owner stays with that model. of
And let me
course-
tell you, it's an identical model.
Exactly. So it's all spec'd out exactly like
Exactly.
how this car is spec'd. It's
very rare because
yeah.
you mentioned the first
doesn't-
owner.
yeah.
It's like his right. He
Exactly.
keeps the
It
he
doesn't-
keeps the
It doesn't
model.
move along with the car. But
The
being-
model is also, I gotta say, I don't know the scale, but it's about this.
Yeah, it's not a
size.
1/18 scale.
It's not a
That's-
1/18. It's about this big.
Right.
And it's probably 10 grand.
Exactly. So, of course, the owner of this dealership, even though he never registered the car, it was his car. It was part of his personal. He considered his personal collection.
Absolutely.
Wanted to keep this model with him, and our buyer said,
Well, it came down to the nitty gritty,
nitty-gritty,
right? We
yeah.
were there, ting tang, trying to get this deal done, and it came down to finally we agreed on the price.
exactly. That's also the most.
And we're like, okay, well, it includes this. Like I said, the major service, the books, the tools, everything, and the model car. No, we're sorry, the model car is not available. We have very clear instructions that does not go with the car.
Right.
My client's philosophy and mine, and I agree with it totally as well. If I'm going to buy what is essentially a brand new LaFerrari on MSO at the dealer, I'm the first owner. I should have the car.
Yeah.
So take it or leave it.
I'm sure that it was hard for him to let that go.
It was hard for me. I'm standing in there saying, "No, I don't want to lose the deal over a model car." I didn't think it was going to boil down to a model car. They were very understanding. Obviously, it didn't go that far deeper.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't going to let the deal pass. The model car was included, so I'm so happy to say that we got the car, we got the model, we got the full service, we got the here in Florida.
Exactly.
Got to fly back on the chopper and just kind of relax and say,
And the dealer did a great job also of making this deal a smooth transaction, because when they did deliver their car, they sent their manager along with the car
Yeah, yeah.
to deliver it personally and show the client, what he needs to know in order
car
to.
came in a flatbed enclosed to the house. I mean, top-notch service, unbelievable. And again, it's all about timing.
Yeah.
When something's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm a believer that you can't force things. And this was just perfect all around for the seller, for the buyer, for us.
Of course, 100%. And obviously, we curated this client's collection, and we're continuing to do that. And he asked us to get the car protected, paint protected. So we have the car now, where it's going to get the paint correction done, polished, ceramic coating, PPF'd. So let's go take a look at it.
Let's go follow up on the car. We expect delivery of that soon. So it's a good idea that we do.
Check it out.
Guys, I hope you love this episode. I hope we addressed all the fine points because it's truly a story worth telling. I love stories, I love cars, and when the two come together, essentially that's what cars are. They are stories. And I'm just always fascinated just to think in the future of this car, where would it continue, right? We're only caretakers for so long, we can't have them forever.
Yeah.
So that'll probably be another episode a few years down the line.
100%. Maybe another episode we can get the car on the road for our viewers.
Well, let's see what they say. Comment down below. Guys, we want to thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. Go check out our archive of literally hundreds of videos and stories like this one. And we'll see you